Hi, I'm Jennifer Kendall, founder of Acuity. I support women entrepreneurs in understanding and transforming their relationship with money, while also mastering the systems and processes to manage it with confidence. I combine deep mindset work with practical money tools so that you can move out of fear, step into clarity, and build a future that feels supportive and sustainable. Whether you're watching from your desk or taking a quiet pause in a busy day, I'm really glad that you're here. In today's video, we're exploring cash flow confidence, and more specifically, how to know where your money is going without obsessing over every single dollar. My hope is that this conversation helps you see your money choices with more compassion and feel more grounded and trusting of yourself as you move forward. So, there's a kind of money stress that nobody really names. It's quiet. It's not a crisis. It's that little pause before you swipe your card for something you actually need. Or that strange moment at the end of a good month where you think, I made money. So why does it still not feel right? Sometimes it's just this small, steady urge to not look too closely because you're not totally sure what you'll find. And I want to say this really early in today's conversation because I think this part matters. That feeling usually has very little to do with how much you're earning. It comes from not quite knowing where your money is going. And that gap between making it and understanding is heavier to carry than most of us will admit out loud. So if you've ever felt that low hum of worry around your numbers, you're in really good company. It's not a flaw. It's not proof that you're bad with money. Most of the time, it just means that no one ever gave you a way of looking at your money that felt simple enough to keep up with. Here's what cash flow confidence is not. It isn't about tracking every single dollar. It's not about white knuckling some budget. It is about awareness and awareness that is gentle. It tends to calm you down, not wind you up. That's the whole idea that I keep coming back to. Confidence with money isn't something that you either have or you don't have. It's something that you build slowly, one honest look at a time. And cash flow is a really good place to start. Okay, so what even is cash flow? Let's take the scary out of that word for a second. Cash flow is simply money coming in and money going out and that timing in between. That's it. That's the whole thing about cash flow. It's not some advanced concept that belong to accountants only. It's just the rhythm of money moving throughout your business day to day. And when you can actually see that rhythm, a few things start to shift. You start making decisions about what's true instead of what you're guessing. You start to notice patterns that you can work with. And that nagging little question in the background of, am I okay? It gets quieter. It gets quieter because you're not running on hope and memory anymore. You've got something steady to look at instead. Now, here's the part that I hope you are really hearing from me today. Most money stress does not come from the actual numbers, it comes from not knowing them. Think about this for a second. When your mind doesn't have real information, it doesn't just sit there politely in a quiet mode, it actually fills in the gaps, usually with the worst case scenarios, the worst visions. I'm probably overspending. I should be saving more. Something's off. I can just feel it. So we swing between two places. We either check obsessively and then feel overwhelmed, or we avoid it completely and feel cut off from knowing about our business. And neither of these options leaves us feeling steadier. So here's an idea. Here's a small shift that can change things. Awareness and control, they're not the same thing. You're not trying to police every single dollar. You're not trying to restrict your way into some flawless financial life. You're building a relationship with your money, and that relationship works so much better on clarity than it does from fear. Awareness says, I'm willing to see what's here. Whereas control, it says, I need it all to be perfect. Even as you say it, you can actually see in my body language, and even if you were to voice it out loud, it feels different. Awareness feels open and relaxed and willing. Control is tight, and over time, it can get very painful. Bottom line is, we're not here to be perfect. All we're really after is to be steady. Okay, so let me give you something that you can actually use here. You don't need an elaborate system for any of this. Honestly, the more complicated it feels, the faster you will quit it. And consistency is the part that builds confidence. So I want you to create something that feels lighter, feels easy instead of complicated. So forget a 40-row spreadsheet. We're going to think in four categories and four categories only. These four categories create just a little tiny snapshot that you can take once a month. The first one is money coming in, everything that came into your business, client payments, sales, everything else. You're not analyzing it at all at this point. You're just noticing what showed up, what's coming in. The second number is your fixed expenses. These are your steady, predictable costs. These are the ones that you know are going to happen. This is your subscriptions, your rent, your insurance, the stuff that your business needs just to keep its doors open. They don't change based on what's happening in your business, they always stay the same. Third is your variable expenses. This is your fluid stuff. This would be your marketing costs, your training, because sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. Your supplies, because you'll buy that stack of paper and that could last you 6 months. The occasional one-off things. This is where the uncertainty usually lies, which is why just saying that number, just knowing that it's there, it does a lot for you. Because that fog of not knowing is the hardest part. The number itself is not normally that hard. The fourth number, and the one that quietly gets skipped, is what's left. After your expenses, what's remaining? And this isn't just profit in the accounting sense. This is your breathing room. This is what most people pay themselves from, especially if you're not in a profit first mentality. This is the amount that you might be tucking away or that you choose to invest back in your business. Looking at that number without flinching can generally change how you feel about the whole thing. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, but Jennifer, I don't have time for one more system. I hear you. And this is exactly where most of them fall apart. Not because they don't work, but because they ask too much of you. So let's keep this really light. Once a month is plenty to look at this number. You pick a time that sticks. Maybe it's the last day of the month. Maybe it's right after you finish your month end process, if you have such a thing. Maybe it's the first few days of the next month. Maybe you open up your bank account or your accounting software and you fill in those four numbers. And then you just sit with it for a minute. Notice what stands out. Don't sit with it for hours. Don't look for perfection. Don't, analyze every single number that went into those big numbers. Just one repeatable moment of paying attention. And when you look it over, keep the questions soft. Did anything surprise me this month? Where did money feel really well spent? And where do I want it to be a little bit more intentional next time? That's it. You're not auditing yourself at this point. You're just getting familiar. Do this for a few months, and the patterns will start showing up on their own. You'll start to see the tighter seasons. You'll start to see the spending that wasn't quite worth it, the income that you can actually count on, And it's from those patterns that your decisions can get clearer without ever having to force a single one. Over time, you'll get more comfortable with those numbers. And when you see things that fall outside of the pattern or you want to look deeper into, you can drill down. But start with simple. When you get simple, you build the confidence and then you can do more. So today, here's what I want to leave you with. Confidence does not come from perfect numbers. It comes from stopping the avoidance, from sitting down and seeing what's real and then staying with it instead of looking away. Some months are going to feel really good, some won't. And both of those things are part of running your business. What actually changes over time isn't the numbers, it's how you meet them, how you feel about them. It's when you start reacting with them with less flinching, a little more of, okay, let's see what's happening. I now can see what needs my attention. I can adjust. That is confidence. It's not loud. It's not for show. It's just grounded. So if you take one thing from today, I hope it's this. You don't have to track every dollar to feel steady about your money. You just need a way of seeing it clearly, regularly, and without turning it into some verdict on yourself. So maybe this month you take one snapshot, four categories, a short check in, a few honest notes. And that can be enough because it is. Build that practice over time, and the other questions will come because you will get comfortable. You will have confidence. I'd love to hear from you. What's one small thing that would make looking at your money feel a little bit calmer right now? Tell me in the comments. I read them all. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you at the next one.